If you enjoy the content on this channel, please like and subscribe. Despicable Me 4 is a 2024 animated comedy film produced by Universal Pictures and Illumination and distributed by Universal. It serves as the sequel to Despicable Me 3, released in 2017, and is the fourth main installment and the sixth overall installment in the Despicable Me franchise. The film was directed by Chris Renaud, who co-directed with Patrick Delage in his feature directorial debut. The film is written by Mike White and Ken Daurio. It stars the voice talents of Steve Carell, Kristen Wiig, Joey King, Steve Coogan, Stephen Colbert, and Will Ferrell. In the film, Gru, played by Carell, and his family, now including Gru Jr, are forced to relocate to a safe house to hide from Maxime Le Mal, played by Will Ferrell, an old schoolmate and rival of Gru, who seeks revenge with his girlfriend Valentina, played by Vergara. At the same time, one of the new neighbours, Poppy Prescott, played by Joey King, is intent on getting Gru to help her to get enrolled into his old school. Development on the film began in September of 2017. It was officially confirmed in February 2022, with Renaud, Delage and White attached as director, co-director and writer, respectively. Production was underway by June of 2022. Most of the main voice cast was announced in January 2024, with Hoffman and Daurio revealed as co-producer and co-writer, respectively. Hector Pereira and Pharrell Williams returned from previous installments to compose the score and write original songs and themes, respectively. Despicable Me 4 premiered at the Jazz and Lincoln Center in New York City on June 9, 2024. It was theatrically released in Australia on June 20th and the United States on July 3rd. Some interesting trivia notes. Much like Despicable Me 3, Agnes is recast once again due to the age requirements. The name on Gru's alma mater is Lycée Passe-Bon. Translating from French to English, the name is High School is Not Good. This film marks the longest gap between Despicable Me films. The gap between Despicable Me, released in 2010, and the second film, released in 2013, was 3 years. The gap between number 2 and number 3 was 4 years, and the gap now between 3 and 4 is 7 years. Miranda Cosgrove was 17 when she voiced Margot in the first film. By the time the fourth film entered production, she was 31. Costing $100 million, this is the most expensive film in the franchise. It is also the most expensive Illumination film, tied with Super Mario Bros., released in 2023. Steve Carell, Miranda Cosgrove, Dana Gaier and Pierre Coffin are the only cast members to voice their respective characters in all the main movies. Even though Kristen Wiig, who plays Lucy, was in the first movie, she voiced a different character, named Miss Hattie. Will Ferrell, who voices Maxime Le Mal, did the voice work of Megamind in the movie of the same name, which was released in the same year as the first Despicable Me in 2010. Megamind had the same main plot of a supervillain protagonist turned good. Characters from the film appeared in a commercial for the 2024 Volkswagen Atlas. This film reunites Steve Carell and Will Ferrell after movies Anchorman: The Legend of Ron Burgundy, released in 2004, and Anchorman 2: The Legend Continues, released in 2013. The appearance of Valentina, voiced here by Sofía Vergara, has a strong resemblance to Spanish actress and model Rosie de Palma. Near the end of the movie, all the villains from Despicable Me and its sequels 2 and 3, as well as the Minions movie and Minions Rise of Gru, can be seen as inmates in the AVL prison. In the musical number in the prison at the ending of the movie, Maxime and Gru play together Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, released in 1985. On June 14, 2024, Pharrell Williams released the song as the first single for the Despicable Me 4 soundtrack. The song has been interpreted as a diss track aimed at Canadian rapper Drake. The song is titled Double Life. Most of the production was done during the COVID-19 pandemic. Romesh Raghunathan now voices Dr. Nefario, Gru's gadgeteer who provides inventions for him and his minions. Raghunathan replaces Nefario's previous voice actor, namely Russell Brand, in light of Brand's sexual misconduct allegations. The first trailer for the film was released on January 28, 2024, during the 2023-24 NFL Playoff Championship games. The trailer features the songs of Sweet Child O' Mine by Guns N' Roses and Maneater by Hall & Oates, as well as in television showings Through the Fire and Flames by Dragon Force. Now, I found Despicable Me 4 a disappointing addition to this beloved franchise. It really feels like a tired rehashing of the familiar jokes and plot lines. Despite its excellent voice cast, including of course the fantastic Will Ferrell, Steve Carell and Kristen Wiig, the film fails to bring anything new or exciting to the table. The film and wider franchise's constant reliance on the minion antics and Gru's bumbling villainy has grown somewhat stale. Also here now we have the addition of the new villain, played by Will Ferrell, with a very questionable French accent, and really does little to revitalize the series. Ferrell is literally one of my favorite comedians, but I feel he's miscast in this role, and why they asked him to put on this phony French accent is beyond me. It's not to say that Ferrell's comedic talents don't shine through in some ways, but his character really feels like a poor imitation of previous villains. The film's attempts at humour and heartwarming moments also fall flat, and the story feels very formulaic and predictable. It's clear that the franchise has sort of run its course, and it's time maybe for Universal and Illumination to focus on new and original concepts and ideas. Look, overall the film is fun, and at the end of the day a film like this is meant to please the family, and I'm sure it might do that. But in a year when we have huge other releases like Inside Out 2, Kung Fu Panda 4, not to mention even the Garfield movie, Despicable Me 4 just sort of seems to add to the list of ever-growing sequels and dull animated feature films. For me, as I mentioned earlier, the series has run its course, but don't worry, we'll probably get Despicable Me 5 in the next few years. The Minions were absolutely hilarious when they were brought out. They were original, different and funny, but now it's just the same old gag over and over and over. For me, this is a lackluster sequel that fails to live up to the standards set by its predecessors. Even the most die-hard fans might find themselves checking their watches, eager for something fresh and exciting in the world of animation. I find it hard to believe that a film like this will compete with some of the bigger animation releases this year. Despicable Me 4 gets a 5 out of 10.